What is going on, everyone? Griffin here, coming at you with some Seeker gameplay, and today we're going to be talking about the Fixer. Did the developers leak a potential Fixer change in Rogue Company? So let's head over and let's talk about it. So as you can see here, this is Rogue Company right now. This is me inside the game, currently live version of the game. And as you can see here, the passive ability for Fixer actually says that your firearm damage ignores 70% of enemy armor. I know at one point it said it fully ignores enemy armor, but as of right now, it says that it ignores 70% of enemy armor. So I think that this is a very interesting and possibly telling, change for Fixer moving forward. Now, Fixer has been a very polarizing character in Rogue Company ever since he was released, and he was like one of the first two rogues that was released for Rogue Company. I'm pretty sure we got Dahlia, and then not long after Dahlia, we got Fixer. They wanted to put another sniper character in the game. They wanted to introduce another sniper rifle into the game, and that's where Fixer made his entrance into Rogue Company. But Fixer has been a character of huge debate, right? Because he has been disabled more times than I can count. His weapon has been disabled more times than I can count. They've been tweaking his passive ability, his primary ability. He's received the most changes out of any other rogue in Rogue Company. And to me, that signifies only one thing. They weren't ready to release the character, they didn't know what they were doing with the character when they designed the character, and that they needed to hold off on introducing a new sniper character into Rogue Company because of the issues that Fixer has presented. I guarantee you that is why we haven't got a new sniper character inside of Rogue Company as of yet. I know that there's a lot of people that would love to have a new sniper character with a new sniper rifle, but it just hasn't happened yet. I guarantee you the reason why is because of the mess that Fixer has caused within the game itself. It doesn't feel like anybody over there knows exactly what they want to do with this character. And that's sad because, I think the Fixer's a cool design. I like the way that the Fixer's aesthetic is. I like his personality. Fixer has a ton going for him as a character, 110%. But what he doesn't have going for him is a balanced kit or a balanced weapon. Now, the tier does feel a little bit better, right? They've kind of figured out the sweet spot for the tier to actually make it feel good, but not super OP. I know at one time it was it one-shot anybody. I know whenever they introduced Gunsmith and it gave it an extra bullet. I know that there's been a lot of things that's happened with the tier. The tier finally feels like it is in a good position. You have the primary ability, which is the thermal vision, which they've tweaked a little bit, right? The thermal vision has always kind of existed in this weird state where it's it's a decent ability, especially if you're going against a very smoke-heavy team, but you don't really gain many benefits outside of that. Well, they decided to increase the thermal output of other rogues so that you could kind of see people when they were behind cover, things like that. And then also increase damage whenever you actually pop the thermal vision for those hot spots like headshots and things like that, so that it gave a little bit more of a benefit to use that whenever you're in gunfights as opposed to having just basically a useless ability. The passive ability went from slowing targets whenever you shoot them to ignoring armor, to potentially now ignoring 70% of the armor. So let's just look at this chain of events real quick, and then we'll get into the meat of that. Slowing enemies was kind of a no-go situation in my opinion. And the reason why, I like the idea of having something worked into a weapon where whenever you shoot them, it does cause them to slow down just a little bit. To me, that seems like something that should be more functional and associated with particular weapons and weapon classes as opposed to a passive ability, because you shoot someone with a sniper, right, and you hit their body and you're going to continue tracking them, especially with the tier, then that movement speed is going to be decreased, which you're not going to be accounting for. Nothing in the game slows movement to the extent that shrapnel rounds slowed movement, and whenever you were trying to snipe someone, then you couldn't properly lead them if you didn't get a headshot right out of the gate. I understand why they removed that, and I thought that was a good idea. Then they put the passive ability in where it's well, this is going to be our character that hard counters armor, so we're going to ignore armor completely. Okay, and that's the reality of it. Like, it did do what they set it out to do. It ignored armor. It was a hard counter for armored targets, but it was almost overly oppressive, especially since Fixer has access to DMRs, like one of the most heavy hitting weapon classes in the game. So you could basically burn people down and kind of deter the enemy team from picking up armored characters, especially in ranked and things like that, competitive play, this, that, and the other. Made him a very good pick. It made him a very strong pick in those situations, but at the same time, it did not allow people to organize team comps that would be beneficial regardless of the situation. So it appears that, you know, according to what's in game right now, it is going to ignore 70% of the armor. So my question for that is, if it's going to ignore 70% of the armor, if you shoot someone and it does 100 damage, does that mean that it's doing 30 damage to the armor and then 70 damage to the body? Or is it stack? Like, how is this going to work fundamentally? Because in my head, it ignores 70% of armor. That means that one bullet that does 10 damage, 3 of that damage is going to automatically tick off of the armor, and then 7 of that damage is automatically going to tick off of that HP. Now, if that is the way that that is going to work, then I am 110% for that. I think that that's a decent enough change to put Fixer in something that isn't quite as oppressive as it currently is. I still think that there's a lot of room for Fixer to kind of grow and make changes to Fixer, appropriate changes to Fixer, to make him a better character overall. At this point, I would say they need to take him out of the game and they need to completely rework the character. That's kind of where I am with it. But I think that this passive ability, if this is something that is going to be changed up in a future update, that at least this is a good step moving forward to kind of get Fixer out of like this weird, you know, OP position that he has been in ever since they made the changes to his passive ability to begin with. But be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that this is something that will be in a future update? Also, do you think that this is something that is going to be a little bit more beneficial for people playing against a Fixer? Do you like the way that his passive ability works as of recording this, where it fully ignores enemy armor? Or do you think that they need to completely rework the character? Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, be sure to check that description for links to Facebook, Discord, and Twitter. Those are the places to contact me. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, then consider hitting that join button to become one of the 256 crew members. Lastly, on Thursdays at around 10 to 11 p.m. and Sundays at 10 a.m. I will be streaming here on YouTube, so if you're interested and available, please feel free to stop by and say hello there. Thanks for watching, guys.
That banking app I use, that Chime thing, when you refer somebody, you get $100 when they get their first deposit. I'm gonna buy Diablo.
Nice.